How's it going, everyone? It's me, it's Jinsula. Hope you're having a good day, and welcome to another Pokemon Go video. So, we are on the cusp of having an Ultra Beast themed raid day. Niantic has been hyping up this event with a phenomenal marketing campaign, yet they utterly destroyed any hype around this event by doing one thing. I'm going to be talking about why in this video, so let's roll the intro and get right into it. Alright, so this weekend we'll have a very special raid day that will feature every single Ultra Beast that was released thus far. Ever since they first started appearing, Pokemon Go players have been collecting these beasts and using them in various parts of the game. Some of them are top tier for raids, while others have made appearances in the Go Battle League. For example, Kartana and Xurkitree are currently meta for their respective types when it comes to raids, and Pokemon like Buzzwole and Guzzlord have various implications for certain GBL leagues. In general, having a raid day featuring all of these Pokemon is naturally pretty hype. There are plenty of ways you can vastly improve your gameplay by having these Pokemon in your collection. So, what did Niantic do wrong? Why are most players not really caring about this landmark event? Simply put, Niantic is ruining any hype around this event by not giving players a good amount of raid passes through bundle boxes in the Pokeshop. This has been an ongoing problem for the past 6 months. Niantic completely gutted any value out of these boxes and have caused the Pokemon Go community to be less enthusiastic about the game. I've talked about this countless times on my channel over the past few months, but it really seems like Niantic is completely out of touch with their community and their own game. These boneheaded decisions to completely strip down bundle boxes of any value and increase the prices for them makes no sense whatsoever. If their aim was to increase their revenue, then they are going about it the wrong way. Whoever is the idiot designer making these box decisions seems to have no clue on business sense. By deflating customer goodwill this way just to make a quick buck will have really long-term ramifications. What's funny is that barely anyone I know is willing to spend money on the game like they used to. I really don't think Niantic is aware of the amount of revenue that they are actually missing out on. Now, I'm sure there are players out there who are buying these trash boxes. I don't blame them for doing so, because it's not like Niantic is giving us a choice. But when a huge number of would-be spenders choose not to spend, Niantic is losing out on more revenue than they potentially could have had. Just imagine if Niantic had decent bundle boxes in the Pokeshop leading into this Ultra Beast arrival event. They probably would have made a killer amount of money. And when I say decent bundle boxes, I mean those that contain plenty of raid passes with a discount valued at around 30%. I'm certain a lot of players would have overbought these boxes in order to make sure they had enough raid passes stocked up. This was typically the case with these sort of hyped up raid days in the past. I think back to the old classic raid days that featured Pokemon like Articuno, Moltres, Zapdos, etc. In those days, it was always a massive revenue spike for Niantic because players would typically stock up on raid passes by purchasing Ultra Boxes en masse. I just haven't heard about anyone doing that this time around, even though this should have been one of the most hyped up raid days ever. This is just a huge missed opportunity for Niantic. Not only would they have made a good amount of revenue, but they would have likely had way higher engagement numbers this event. What actually makes me the most angry about all of this is just how much Niantic contradicts themselves through the most recent set of boxes. Both of the bundle boxes that are currently available in the Pokeshop are labeled as raid boxes, yet they mostly contain non-raiding related items. I mean, what does incubators and Ultra Balls have to do with raiding? Why is there a lack of premium raid passes, lucky eggs, and star pieces? You know, actually useful items for raids. It is absolute lunacy at this point. I mean, they've been pushing in-person raids for the past several months, but they have done nothing for raiders at all. I really think at this point, people need to lose their jobs at Niantic. Whoever is coming up with these absolutely trash bundle boxes are doing long-term damage to the game. Not only will most of the heavy spenders stop spending, but eventually the community will get fed up as a whole and quit the game entirely. Niantic has done very little to be in the good graces of their players, and if they continue to go down this path of consumer unfriendliness, then they will go down as the worst company that ever handled the Pokemon IP of all time. So what does this mean for us Pokemon Go players? Well, most importantly, don't buy the current raid boxes in the Pokeshop. If enough players buy these abhorrent boxes, it will just encourage Niantic to make them worse and worse. In fact, I would say you should just stop spending money altogether. Even for these Ultra Beasts, they will eventually return in the future. It's just not worth getting right now. Soon enough, Niantic will eventually understand just how stupid they've been, but that's going to be up to us. Until they start respecting their players and their wallets, they don't deserve a dime from any of us. I'm actually extremely disappointed by this whole situation. The lead up to this Ultra Beast arrival event was actually really well done. Like I said before, the marketing campaign was absolutely stellar, and this really could have been really special. It's just a shame that there is a much higher likelihood that the whole thing will be a bust, especially because community sentiment towards Niantic and Pokemon Go are so low right now. Niantic really could have used the win, but they just had to go and shoot themselves in the foot with these terrible boxes. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. I apologize for the long-winded rant, and I know a lot of you really don't like it when I am negative towards Pokemon Go. However, I do think everything that I talked about needs to be addressed, and Niantic needs to do something about it. But of course, since this is a topic of debate, I would love to know your thoughts down below. Are you just as unhappy as I am, or are you actually okay with how Niantic has been poorly treating their game and players? Let me know why in the comments, and let's have a good discussion. And if you ended up enjoying this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if it's your first time here, and don't forget that little bell so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. And I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support my channel in any way, big or small, then be sure to check out the links in the description below. For all my patrons, they get a permanent spot on my in-game friends list. So if you want to interact with me in some way, like with remote raids, then do consider becoming a patron on my Patreon. But yeah, that's going to be it. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself, and I'll catch you all later.